Listen up, webmasters. Do you have the domain from GoDaddy but still don't have a design to go with it? If you want a great design to go with your great website, head over to Exaler Studios. Quality, professional graphic, and web design. Need to fix up an existing design? No problem. Exaler can do it all. Head over to their site at exalerstudios.com. That's XALER Studios.com. All websites get a 15% discount using the code MCMuggle.
Yo, MuggleCast listeners, I have a deal for you. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever, with 99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. Best of all, plans start at $3.99 a month. Plus, as a listener of MuggleCast, enter code HARRY, that's HARRY, when you check out, and save an additional $5 off of any order of $30 or more. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com.
Because heck, we finally have a date. This is MuggleCast episode 75 for February 3rd, 2007.
So guys, I was thinking, I know we need to save a lot of space on MuggleNet on the website for all of the ads to go, so I figured out something that I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, instead of needing two countdowns, one for the Order of the Phoenix film and one for the book, simply add 7 days to the time that it says for Order of the Phoenix to the counter and do mental math, which will wake you up and want you to read Harry Potter news, and you've got the release date. Yes, just add 7 days, and our counter is completely accurate.
It's completely accurate to the second, too. That's amazing.
To the second for Deathly Hallows, and we didn't even put up a Deathly Hallows countdown.
Great idea. What if we added after where it says blank amount of days, and in parentheses we put add 7 to get the Deathly Hallows release date?
Yeah, you should.
It's like plus 7 for DH or something.
Plus 7. Yeah. Underneath where it says Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix July 13th, just say add 7 days
HB 7.
Deathly Hallows.
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, do that.
A new countdown is being worked on that has both of the dates being counted down on one thing. It's hopefully it'll be pretty cool. But anyway, welcome everyone to episode 75 of MuggleCast. We had a couple things planned for this week's show. We had a character discussion on Argus Filch and Mrs. Norris, and we were planning on doing more J.K. Rowling quotes about Book 7. However, a little release date came out the other day, and that's what we're going to be talking about for the main focus of the show. And we got voicemails, and we got a lot of other good stuff, right, everyone?
Yeah. It's looking
Laura,
good.
I cannot wait for your thoughts on the release date.
I'm sure you can't.
But wait.
Teaser.
Okay.
Just wait. First, we got to do Micah's news. But before that, I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Kevin Steck.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Laura Thompson.
I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
And I'm Mikey Bouchereau.
Micah Tannenbaum is standing by in the MuggleCast News Center with the past week's top Harry Potter news stories. Micah.
Thanks, Andrew. The big news, of course, this week, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows will be released on July 21st, 2007. The hardcover edition will sell for $34.99, with the deluxe edition going for $65. These high prices could mean the book will be longer than any of the previous 6. And just a few hours after the release date was announced, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows held the top spot on both the Amazon and Barnes & Noble bestseller lists. But just when did Rowling finish the final Potter book? Well, according to The Sun, J.K. Rowling wrote the following message on a marble bust at the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh. It said J.K. Rowling finished writing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in this room, 652, on the 11th of January, 2007. The BBC later reported that they could confirm J.K. Rowling did write some of the book at the Balmoral last month and did complete the book at that hotel. New details have recently emerged surrounding the message Joe scrawled on the marble bust. The hotel has said that it has no immediate plans to turn the room into a tourist shrine, and rather interestingly, the bust is believed to be of the Greek god Hermes. Waterstones has announced plans to set up a special helpline for fans after Deathly Hallows comes out this summer. Jo revealed in June that 2 more characters would die, who she hadn't intended on dying, and the UK book chain says this could be a similar moment to when Take That split up. There could be a lot of upset teenagers out there. We are looking to set up a helpline for them. Of course, the other big news this week, photos promoting the upcoming production of Equus in London's West End were released. They showed a distinctly different side of Daniel Radcliffe, who plays the lead role, and were received with surprise by some. However, Dan says he's fine about playing the part naked. Dan said, Equus is an iconic play. The nude scene is part of it. I can't do it with my pants on. That would be rubbish. Over in movie news, Jason Isaacs, the Lucius Malfoy actor, made a recent appearance on Richard and Judy, where he discussed some of his current acting projects and a little about Potter. He said, I'm waiting to see if I'll be in the 7th book with bated breath. I go to prison all the way through book 6, so number 7, obviously I'm desperate to find out if I get out. I actually met J.K. Rowling at an awards ceremony, and I went over and said, I'm begging you, and she laughed. Emma Watson has made Sweet 16 magazine's list of the 16 sweetest stars 16 and under. The list honors talented young celebrities who have avoided the Hollywood party scene and are great role models. Finally, according to the New York Times, Yahoo recently announced that Harry Potter will be the topic of one of their 100 new websites related to the top entertainment brands this year. The project, which is called Brand Universe, will provide users with a wide array of information about the most popular toys, books, movies, television shows, and games. That's all the news for this February 3rd, 2007 edition of MuggleCast. Back to the show.
All right, thank you, Micah.
Thank you, Andrew.
You know, it's funny, for the good past couple of weeks, it's been a slow news period, but then in the beginning of the week, we had some raunchy pictures of Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, boy.
And then the release date came out, and it was it was a big week for the fangirls, to say the least.
They're not fangirls, Andrew.
Well,
they're human
Laura.
beings.
No, Eric, you don't respond to the fangirls. Laura.
I'm not a fangirl.
Laura didn't even know that the release date was announced until this podcast. She
oh, yeah.
She was just viewing those pictures. She just couldn't get her eyes off the pictures.
Yeah. No,
she
in
looked
all
at the
honesty,
Google document.
Hush.
What?
In all honesty, I am not a Dan Radcliffe fangirl, but I will say that I think it's very brave what he's doing, because he's trying to break out of, a typecast role of always being, Harry Potter. And I think it's really cool that he's willing to go to such lengths as taking off his clothes to do that. So, props, Dan.
Yeah, he's no longer...
I wanted to talk about that for a second. Do you guys think it's going to work?
Andrew, he's no longer Harry Potter. He's now Harry Chest.
You've been working on that one, haven't you?
No, I just thought of it now. It's actually Harry Armpits. I need to see the pics again to pick the best. What should I say? What do you guys... Yeah, Harry Armpits. What should I say?
That's good. Now Harry Chest.
Harry
Let's
Chest.
keep it at Harry
All
Chest. That's good, Eric. I don't know. I really don't think. I thought you were going to be serious and say he's not going to be known just as Harry Potter now. He's going to be known as that Harry Potter kid who also fell in love with a horse. I mean, honestly, isn't that what he's going to be seen as?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
The one thing that irks me about it is that they're using to advertise the play exclusively.
Because he's the main
that's
character.
That's a draw. Exactly, but it's a draw of character. All the people going to that play. Hey, Dan Radcliffe naked. Main headline. Let's
if
make sure
it draws people, isn't that why you're going, Andrew?
Let's not talk about that.
I wasn't planning on telling anyone, but now that you bring it up. No, I'm kidding.
Do you know who the girl is, actually?
No, we know that she's like a mystery girl.
I'm going to find
exactly. That's what I'm saying. No one cares about any of the other characters. Sort of sad.
Well, what I'm saying, though, if you do... Who cares if they go and see Dan Radcliffe naked? Because they might end up being enlightened by something in the plot or the story.
I could see.
I mean, you might end up liking it. And
Yeah.
whereas before you would have been, turned away from the play, it's just the magnetism of seeing Dan Radcliffe naked.
Yeah, so, I mean, we don't really want to spend too much time on that today, but Jamie, myself, and a friend of ours will be going to see the play in mid-March, and then we'll have a little discussion about it on the show, and probably file a report on the website. So look forward to that, all you Dan Radcliffe fangirls.
Exclusive pictures.
Yeah, in other news, before we get to the big release date discussion, I wanted to get through a few MuggleCast-related announcements first. First and foremost, MuggleCast will be in Lightning 2007, which will be July 12th to the 15th at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ben, Jamie, Micah, and I will all be there. We're going to be doing a live podcast on the day of the film's release, and also doing a seminar workshop sort of thing on podcasting, how to create your own podcast. We're going to show you how we do MuggleCast on a week-to-week basis, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And for more information, please visit enlightening2007.org, and we hope to see as many people as possible there.
You guys are going to be in Philadelphia. Ugh. That's like where I lived, man. That's like...
I know. Well, that's it. We didn't.
No,
where do I
Eric,
live
it's
now,
not where
Andrew?
you live.
You live in New Zealand now.
Yeah.
We planned it out this way, Eric. Once you went to New Zealand, right. That's when
I've been
we
to
signed
Andrew's
up.
house
Yeah.
once.
No, plus we did need a co-host from Australia. Oh wait.
Someone
See, that's
needs a
why I said that
geography
whole
lesson.
thing, because it leads into this.
So who wants to clear this up? Eric or Micah?
I'll clear it
I mean,
up.
basically,
Who said it?
I said it.
Micah.
I said it on last
Micah
week's show.
said it, yeah.
Good.
But I think more of the point that we were trying to make was that there's at least somebody in that general
Well, first
area.
explain what happened.
What? Oh,
Well, there were,
last week on the show, I made the mistake of saying, because somebody asked in an email, why don't we have somebody from Australia who podcasts on the show? Because we have people from the US, we have people from England. And what ended up happening was I said, oh, well, now we do have somebody from Australia. We have Eric. But he's in New Zealand. He's not in Australia, which is an entirely different country. So I did get email. I do apologize.
These indignant fans from Australia saying, no, New Zealand
Well, it
is
was
different
both.
from
It
us.
was
We're
both. It
completely-
wasn't just from Australia. It was from New Zealand, too.
Oh, really?
Both fans sent in stuff, yeah.
So
Some were not very nice, I will add.
yeah, guys, if you're gonna be mean to us in a nice way.
Yeah, just write in and say, hey, you made a mistake. Mention it on the next show.
No, but general area speaking, it really worked out, I think, well for anybody in Australia who wanted some kind of representation, because New Zealand isn't that far away. It's a lot closer than anything else is to Australia, except maybe, the Gold Coast region, yeah. The Pacific, it's I believe it's a 3-hour flight as opposed to a 15-hour flight, 13-hour flight to the U.S. So, I mean, it's practically right there, and it was pretty close. I mean, I don't mind personally, but I guess it's obviously something different for somebody who's living in Australia to be confused with New Zealand, or New Zealand with Australia.
And also, the Deathly Hallows Theory Contest is now closed. We are going to go through all of your submissions. Hopefully, we got tons of them. And we're going to pick our favorite 10 to 15 and then play them on episode 76, at which point there will be a poll on MuggleCast.com where you can vote for your favorite theory, and then the top 3 winners will receive a piece of Jamie's suitcase, and also a t-shirt, MuggleNet book, a variety of different items. For full details, you can visit MuggleCast.com. And finally, as it is a new month, we want to remind everyone to vote for us at PodcastAlley.com. We kicked the podcast booty last month, actually. In January, we were number 1 pretty much the entire month, and by a long shot, Keith and the girl were a distant second. So thanks to everyone who voted, and we hope everyone votes again. We like staying up top there because it helps spread the word about the show. Now moving along to our main discussion this week, of course, the release date of Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows, July 21st, 2007. We did a Muggle mini cast earlier this week, a few days ago. the night that the release date was announced. Laura, you were not here.
No.
So I want
sadly.
to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, you know what's really strange about that is the night before it was released, I was kind of laying in bed and I'm thinking, when are we going to find out when the book's coming out? Because, you know, if it's going to be 2007, they're going to have to announce it soon. And I was kind of imagining, you know, what the release would be like. And I wake up around 9:30 the next morning, and I come over to the computer, and I have an IM from one of my friends. And it simply said 7/21/07. And I knew right then, I was like, oh my gosh, that is the release date. And like my heart started beating really, really, really fast, and I got all excited, and I went and looked at our site and MuggleNet, and it was just a really, really exciting moment because I wasn't expecting it. I was actually kind of shocked. And aside from the marketing, which I think is going to be kind of interesting, in the least, I'm really, really excited for it to come out. And I don't regret that that's when it's coming out. I know a lot of people are really upset about it, but I don't see why. I'm excited.
Yeah. By the way, I actually found out in a strange way. I was in school. I was in TV Tech Studio, and I get a text message from someone in the 806 area code saying Deathly Hallows will be out July 21st. And I thought I was expecting this just to be like another rumor or something. Some girl like bored and decided to try to, I don't know, make me think that. But just to check, I went on MuggleNet.com and sure enough, there it was. And so by the way, I just wanted to say, whoever was in the 806 area code, thank you for sending me a text message that it was out, because otherwise I probably never would have known. Well, until later that day, of course. So, all right. So, something that we did find out on Friday was that Joe had completed the book on January 11th at the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh, Scotland. And I wanted to talk about this for a little bit because there's a few interesting things going on here. First of all, this was, you guys might remember that on December 19th, she posted a blog update on her site. She said, "I'm now writing scenes that have been planned, in some cases for a dozen years or even more. I don't think anyone who has not been in a similar situation could possibly know how this feels. I'm alternately elated and overwrought. I both want and don't want to finish this book. Don't worry, I will." Is it interesting to you guys that just under a month later, she would be finishing the book?
Andrew, I think this news that we keep getting just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Because now we found out that she was done, over 3 weeks ago. Like you said, just a month after she wrote that.
Does this seem to you guys, did this show any signs of the book being practically completed?
No, that's what's really getting me. I was under the impression that she still had a ways to go.
Yeah.
I felt it was like 80% done, and she was going back and fixing the scenes that she had been planning, but I didn't realize it was this close.
Yeah,
right.
When I read that, I read it and I said, okay, so I guess about 5-6 more months writing time is what I would have.
You thought 5 to 6 more months?
Yeah, that's what I was. No, you got to understand. I was waiting for a 2008 release. I said, okay, well, if she's writing, I would have guessed. Mikey used the great thing of 80%. I'm just going to say I thought she was about 60%. Complete with the book, and then she was writing some of the old things, which would take her up to about 80, and then she could finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, well, I think, Andrew, you mentioned it on the mini-cast. Do you think it's possible that she had large pieces done?
Well, the final chapter has been written for a while now.
Well, she said that, but do you think that more pieces were done besides that?
Well,
because it seems as though it was such a dramatic change from, I'm working on the book to, oh, by the way, it's done.
Right. It's all been boiling up in her head. I think the first sentence of that is the most interesting. I'm now writing scenes that have been planned in some cases for a dozen years or even more, which says to me now, looking back, that she was probably working on the final scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So she
with
was
that.
wrapping up the book.
Yeah,
that's true.
Did we not mention that when we discussed this on that episode of MuggleCast following this blog update? I guess not.
Probably
I'm
not.
pretty sure we did, but we all didn't take it
not,
like this, that it would be,
Well, yeah, because if you look at it, most of us probably saw scenes and figured, okay, well, she still has chapters that she has to write. But
right.
scenes could literally be within the chapter. She might have been writing the final chapter.
Right.
Yeah.
Or updating it.
And if she says, I both want and don't want to finish this book, if you don't want to finish this book, but you only have 3 more weeks of writing left, it seems a little strange. But, we're not calling her out. I'm just saying that.
Well, I don't think so, because I mean, at that point, she was so close. I can understand why she would be, not wanting to finish, because it's like, whereas it's over for us in July, it's over for her now.
It's over now.
So I can understand, feeling a little bit upset as she's getting close. I mean, this has been her life for the past 10 years.
Yeah. Now, Laura, the dream thing I wanted to talk about, because you actually called this on the December 22nd episode of MuggleCast. Excuse me. We were talking about the dreams and what it meant in terms of how close she was to writing book 7. And my arrogant self thought that I had called that since she was having this dream, she must be close to finishing. So I went back and listened so I could brag and boast about it. But it was actually you who said it.
Well, wow.
No, what I'm saying is, good work.
Oh, well, thank you. I guess I didn't fail divination.
No, but it's interesting, and it does make sense.
It is interesting.
If you're having a dream about it now, it's over now. So you're about to be thinking about it. It's almost over. So good call.
Well,
back a few weeks ago. Another thing, we were making fun of Eric for this last week. The interview with Jason Isaacs, where he says that he hears Jason Isaacs is going to be killed. But also in that interview, he says, and I quote, I fell on my knees and begged to Joe. He's talking to Joe. It didn't do any good. I'm sure she doesn't need plot ideas for me, but I made my point. We'll see. Like everybody else, I'm holding my breath to July to see what's in there. I just want to bust out of prison. That's all. I don't want to stay in Azkaban most of my life. Did Jason know? Is there a chance that Joe said July?
Well, didn't a few people say July, publicly, that they have to wait till July?
Yeah, so, there was at least one other person who had heard from Joe that it was going to be July. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jason Isaacs was like, so come on, just tell me, when's it coming out? Or maybe he might have said this summer, and Joe might have been like, sometime in July, because she was aiming for summer release date. 2 weeks ago on the show, when we talked about, there was a quote where she said that in the Emerson and Melissa interview that she would be releasing the book about two years after book 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that's the typical time frame. So it all makes sense.
This is kind of like reality setting in, and not only is it the latest book, but I did feel that this is too soon, and I don't know why. I can't really explain that. And I guess, Micah and other people feel that 2008 was way too long, but I just wasn't ready, and I don't think...
Well,
I still think it's way too early, especially
here's the thing. I mean, if you go back and listen to, episodes, from around the time when we went and saw Joe at Radio City Music Hall, I was completely of the belief that we were going to have a 2008 book, because it just didn't...
We had a huge debate on that,
it just didn't seem like she was even remotely close to having it done, so that it could come out this summer. But when we got the title in December, I started thinking it probably will be 2007. However, I didn't really think it would be July. I was thinking more like August, a little later in the summer.
Yeah, jumping back to what Eric was saying, I think some people might have gotten their hopes up a little too much of waiting past summer 2007, because Eric, from what I gather from you, you're just upset because you really had your hopes up for 2008. Give it a long time. Give Joe plenty of time to write in and perfect it.
It wasn't even a long time. It's just that I feel that this time was kind of too short. I mean, I'm trying to change my opinion. I'm trying to look into perspective and say, okay, every episode of MuggleCast that has ever come out has come out since Half-Blood Prince was out. And that, that's when we basically started, about a month later than that. So if you look at, I guess it has been a long time, but it still feels so short. And I don't know exactly why I feel that way, but it just, I really feel that it was, it depends on how long the book is, too. We still don't know that. I would really like to hear that, particularly, especially from Joe, how long the book will be. But it's just, it's the 7th book. I know, as you had said, I was under I was willing to give her as much time as she needed with it, and to find out that she just finished it 3 weeks ago, and then, is just a little disconcerting, I think.
Back on to the Balmoral Hotel story, where Joe had finished writing book 7 on January 11th. This news broke in the UK tabloid The Sun, and at first nobody really believed it, because there was a picture of a marble bust It was a close-up of the marble bust where Joe signed J.K. Rowling. Oh, what's the exact wording?
J.K. Rowling finished writing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in this room, parentheses 652, and parentheses, on 11th of January, 2007.
And when you look at this picture, I can almost swear that it looks like her signature is actually like photoshopped in, because it looks, I don't know, it just looks to me that it's a little like darker than the rest of the writing. But I think this is Joe.
Maybe
I think this is Joe being personable with this whole situation, because first of all, first question: why was she writing in a hotel?
I guess she was traveling.
Privacy, maybe, away from everyone. Focus on it.
Yeah, doesn't she have any marble busts at her mansion that she can write on and graffiti? Because I'm pretty sure this is criminal in the slightest way. Nobody's going to take her into jail or anything.
But think about it. Like, wouldn't you want to go to that hotel and stay in that room? Especially if the bust is there. You know what I mean? Like, I want to stay in that room where Joe finished writing,
Exactly. People are now going to go there to the concierge and request room 652. There will be a 9-month waiting list if you want to stay in that room.
I wouldn't. Please, I wouldn't even do that. I would just. I would just wait for the maid to open the door and go in and be like, "Excuse me, I stayed here last night. I left my something in here. Can I?"
Well, I think they'll replace the bust, but
I was going to say
the room will stay there.
Well, I don't think they'll take it out, because obviously someone would steal that.
Yeah, steal it without doubt.
I think that they'll put it like in the lobby or something, in some glass case
under a glass frame.
Because that is something to be proud of, and to the hotel management, it might not seem as big of a deal if they're not really Harry Potter fans, but that's a big thing.
Well, JKR must have been proud, because you're sitting there, you're writing the last book of your career, and you jump up and say, "I'm done. I think I'm going to write on that marble bust with a felt."
What I want?
Did you say last book of her career?
I totally want the "Do Not Disturb" sign that was hanging on that doorknob.
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be cool, yeah.
We should
that's the other
steal
thing
it.
too. Why did I wonder why the news only broke now? Because if she wrote that on 11th of June, depending on how long she stayed there, the maid would have come in maybe the 12th of June, the 13th of January. Sorry, the 13th of January.
And that's why I didn't believe the Sun article, because I was like, oh, they're just doing this for some quick press. Now that the title's out, of course, or the release date's out, of course, all this is going to be happening.
Now, do you think she told the hotel? Is it possible that they removed the bust after she did it?
There's a quote here. I found it in a Associated Press article. The hotel said it does not encourage guests to write on hotel property, of course, but Rowling is a special case. And then they quote hotel spokeswoman Jessica Trotter. Obviously, this is quite a unique case. We're honored and flattered she chose the Balmoral as surroundings to do her writing. So I don't think they're going to be charging her any additional
she's JKR.
fees.
She can write. She can graffiti anywhere. And
Eric, you keep calling it graffiti, but it's not like she had a spray can and she was like doing some ghetto writing.
Joe with the spray can and bandana under the freeway.
Obviously, Andrew, she's going to have a lot more free time on her hands now. I just wonder if she'll take up this newfound talent of hers. I don't know.
Maybe after all that time of having the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the room of requirement on her official site, she wanted to actually use a "Do Not Disturb" sign for good reason.
Yeah.
There you go. But prices for that hotel, the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh,
have
go up
just
to
tripled.
a good $1,300. Well, not just that, but the most expensive rooms are good £1,300 a night.
Wow!
Out of interest, of course, Joe can afford it. But what I'm saying, it's no shabby hotel.
It's no Howard Johnson's.
In other news, that's where Jamie and I will be staying when we're in England.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, it's in Scotland, so I guess that's a bit of a problem. But wouldn't surprise me if that's going to be a new stop on all those Harry Potter fan trips.
Harry Potter fan trips, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so here's something we were going to start talking about, but then stopped because we didn't want the Muggle minicast to not be a Muggle minicast. Who is it that decides the release date? Is it Joe or is it Scholastic in Bloomsbury? I'm confused by this whole fiscal year thing. Kevin, please explain it.
I myself would guess that Joe tells them that she's completed the book, and then they come up with the date that they think would be best and tell her about it and ask if she thinks it would be all right. I think it's sort of like a,
it's a give and take. It's a give and take between the two, I think.
Yeah, I think they collaborate
sort of
on
like
it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see that like Scholastic or Bloomsbury being the sole person who decide, the sole company that decides, hey, this is going to be the release date, and J.K. Rowling has no say over it.
Yeah, which
I have
it's
a feeling
pretty rare
because
authors don't really get to say, I want my book to come out on this day, so she's definitely a rare case.
We have a lot of younger listeners, myself included. Kevin, can you explain what a fiscal year is? There's 4 quarters in the fiscal year.
Right. Okay. A fiscal year is basically the accounting year. What happens is, in accounting, you have dates that you start the year and dates that you end the year. And they're not necessarily on New Year's Day because obviously everyone's off. So what happens is certain companies have different start and certain end dates to their accounting year, where they have to report their quarterly earnings, their yearly earnings, and based on that, investors and all sorts of board members and stuff like that make judgments on the company and where it's going. So essentially, it's just sort of like a financial year.
So basically, Bloomsbury and Scholastic's third quarter earnings are going to be extremely high.
Yes, correct.
Right.
They're going to be through the roof. And when I said their fiscal year is going to be huge, it's because the book is going to be released in that fiscal year.
Buy stock now.
Yeah,
no kidding. Watch it jump and then drop after the book's released.
And buy Google. Yeah. All right, so we already talked about this a little bit, but we're all still expecting a real update from Joe, a personal message from Joe.
Yeah, I talked to her last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Micah, go ahead, make your next request right
Drop.
now.
Well, I did a little bit. I made one last night when when the MuggleCast was released.
What did you say exactly? I don't.
No, I think at the end of the show I mentioned it would be nice to get a more personal
response
from her.
Yeah. It really would. How does it feel when you dedicate your life to this? Sorry, Mike. When you dedicate your life for 15 years, how does it feel? Or why is it only a week after the movie? What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Yeah, and I think a diary update would be nice, and that's probably what most people want. I mean, we're not looking for anything real soon like we got with Half-Blood Prince, where we had chapter titles. We had a little snippet of one of the chapters given to us before the release. I'm sure she'll do something like that again.
Right.
Oh, I'm sure she will, but I didn't really see a problem with the news post on our site.
Oh, I did.
You don't see a problem?
I thought it was terrible.
No, I didn't. I mean, it was like...
You didn't see much, Laura, because there's only like 12 words.
I know. I know. Okay, Eric. What I'm saying is, it made it seem very official, like
an
I don't know.
accountant
There was
wrote
just
it,
something.
that's true. Somebody else just wrote it.
Well, there's just something. Well, no. There's something about it that just made it seem like so set in stone the way it was done, and that's why I didn't mind it.
It was official, but it was a little too official. She didn't say, "I am glad to announce." She,
or
like it wasn't written by her.
Right.
Hey-o.
I was so happy.
Yeah,
or I was so happy I wrote on a statue. Read that in the sun tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a press release. That's basically what it was. It was an official press release. You guys need to stop
complaining.
No, we're not complaining. Well, let's clear something out.
Hold on a second, okay? Read it, Laura. You want me to read what it says on the site? You tell me if that sounds...
Uh-oh.
I've read it. I've read it.
Mike is getting upset. Let's
I'm just saying it wasn't very personal. And that's usually how she operates.
It wasn't.
It sounds like it was written by a lawyer.
It wasn't, but...
It was written by a lawyer. It wasn't written by her. It was written by someone who says, this is going to be the release date. You need to put it up. And that's what it was. It was
the thing is, I'm just not worried about it because I know we will get a personal message, so...
Right. I mean, it's not like this is a sign of things to come. It's not going to be like the whole book is going to be all generic and miserable. Not miserable, generic and basic like this description. But I think...
A lawyer cleared the...
I think what's unexpected is... Book 6, there was a lot of fanfare. There was the minimum requirement you had to get through, and then there was a card which opened up, and it said, "I'm happy." I don't know the exact wording, but it was in a greeting card. And
okay.
Half-Blood Prince is complete. Da 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 da. And now this is the final book, and it's just like.
Well, maybe there's something bigger to come.
Hold on, Laura. I want to read something to you. Okay. 22nd of December 2004. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince to be published the 16th of July 2005. If you read this, it's much more personal than Deathly Hallows.
Well, maybe she's
So
doing
now you
something
know.
bigger.
Now, wait a second. December 22nd, 2004, was that when she actually announced the date, or was that a couple days after? That was a couple days after.
That's when she put her news post up in the news section.
Right, but it was a couple days after her announcement in the room requirement.
Yeah, I'm just looking in her news section of the site right now.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, so we should be expecting something like this.
Maybe. I mean,
right?
I don't know. I just can't be that worried about it because it's like we're getting the book in July. I'm excited. I could really care less.
Yeah. Well, let's clear that up. There's been a lot of complaints about that. We are very excited. We're extremely excited. For some of us, it takes longer to set in for others, but we're all freaking thrilled that we finally have a release date. But
that's what we do.
Party!
We touch on everything.
Yes, party.
I'm gonna buy some party streamers, and at the beginning of every show, I'm just gonna celebrate from now on.
Although, you know what? I am gonna cry.
Can you get those
when
poppers?
It's over.
Yeah, Laura, we were saying, did you listen to the minicast?
No.
Of course you did.
She was staring at Daniel Radcliffe.
I was saying that the Decade of Enchantment Ball at Prophecy 2007.org is going to have.
Oh my god, that's going to be a cry fest.
It's going to have some extra meaning. What should the final song be? What's a good goodbye song?
Please not something from the Goblet of Fire soundtrack.
No.
Anything but that.
No, like what's one of those really depressing end of the world?
That's what friends are for.
How's that go?
I don't think it should be depressing. I think it should be like we went out with a bang.
In
that
good
kind of
times, in bad times, I'll be on your side forever.
Oh, what about that song that goes, ooh, I'm totally off key. That with the ukulele. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, you mean Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Yes, Mikey. Thank you.
Oh.
I can't pronounce the guy's name. He's awesome, though.
Yeah, that's a good song.
I think Green Day's Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. I think that would be good.
Wake me up when July ends.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about that song.
I know. That's a good song.
It's a good song, though.
He admits it now.
Yeah.
The final
by the
countdown
way,
by Europe.
Just real quick, speaking of music, I got a lot of feedback about my little Bye 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 remix I did on the last show.
Not in July.
So much so that I decided I'm going to look into possibly turning it into a Wizard Rock single. I just purchased the karaoke version, so now I can freely sing without NSYNC getting in my way. So, I'll be also providing updates.
Do you need backup vocals?
Well, there are backup vocals already on the karaoke version, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'll enlist you if I do need any help.
Okay.
But anyway, anyone else want to bring anything else up before we get to fan reaction, which we can talk about?
No.
Can't wait to see her response.
Yeah.
I want to hear the story personally from her, is what I want to see.
I want to hear
about the hotel.
Yeah, why she decided to go to the hotel.
I think it's going to be a great story. I can just see a great story coming from it. No, I'm sure she will. I mean, I'm sure she will, without doubt. And I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we got some feedback from the listeners about their feelings on the release date. And we got some interesting tidbits that some people wanted to point out to us. Sent into MuggleCast@staff.muggle.com. The first one comes from Benjamin, 16 of Buffalo. He writes, "Hey guys, I love the show. You are all fantastic and one of the best things I've ever listened to." Thank you, Benjamin. I just wanted to comment on the release date. I know that 7707 would have been an awesome release date, but that was crushed by the movie premiere. But I think that 7/21/07 is a good release date. 7 + 7 + 7 = 21. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. See,
that's not the first time someone's done
Where's
that.
Calissa?
Yeah, Calissa. That's clever though.
It is
probably
clever.
not the reason. But.
So it's 5 7s.
Oh, you have to mention the summer solstice.
No, summer solstice. Oh yeah,
it's not
the summer solstice.
Yeah.
Please, I went through like 10 emails
10 million
today.
emails, yeah.
No,
yeah.
June 21st.
Everyone.
And that was when book 5
when
was
Order
released.
of the Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah. and that was 2003.
Next one comes from Charlotte 15 of Wisconsin. She says, today in history I was thinking about the book 7 release date, and then I realized that it's on my half birthday, July 21st, of course. It then made me realize that it was exactly 6 months after my actual birthday, December 21st, which was the date we found out the name of Harry Potter 7. I'm sure other people probably realized the connection already, but if not, I'm letting everyone know now.
I just found out from Charlotte.
6
Oh, wait,
months.
so it's exactly
Exactly.
6 months then? Because we found
That's-
out.
Wow.
Right, exactly. You have to wait exactly 6 months. I think that's
Oh,
kind
wow.
of cool. Next email, Lindsay16 of Cape Town, South Africa. She writes, hello, MuggleCast. Excuse me, I just choked on nothing. I just wanted to say that the 21st of July for the Deathly Hallows release is just great. Usually the HP film comes out a week after the US and UK release. If this, in South Africa, she's talking about. If this pattern continues, it means that I can go see the movie on Friday the 20th, read the book on the 21st, and then cry my eyes out on the 22nd because there will never be another HP book again. The date
But you
won't
still
stop
got
me
2
from
more
seeing the movie
movies.
at least twice in the cinema, and I think most HP fans from South Africa would agree. Thanks for the great show, and I hope you don't stop MuggleCast after July. So see, it's not... Some people enjoy that sort of thing. You got the movie and then the book the next day. That's crazy. Or vice versa. Whatever she said.
Well, that was one thing we didn't really talk about that we mentioned on the last show was the book versus the movie.
Yeah, Laura, what do you think about that? I mean, is that a big deal to you, or...
It doesn't really bother me,
Yeah, someone...
but I don't know. It does seem kind of weird, I guess, because they're two different stories. I don't think it'll hurt either or, but I think it's not the best marketing I've ever heard of.
Who was it that pointed out on the last show? Well, we did talk about marketing, and I thought it would be great cross-marketing. Media-wise, with the news outlets.
Harry Potter month, etc. is what you said.
Yeah. What Eric pointed out on the minicast was that it's better that the book comes after the movie rather than the
Oh
movie
yeah,
come after
it
the
is
book.
better.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That would be awful if the book came before the movie.
Right. Yeah, so...
I think that
just wanted to get
second
your
weekend,
thoughts on
though,
that.
is going to suffer in sales because people are going to be completely focused on the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wrote. I mean, people who want to see the movie a second and a third time, unless they do it in the first week, they'll have a book to occupy them, obviously.
Yeah,
So
but honestly, I don't see it suffering that much. I mean, I
right.
said, quite a few people like to pace themselves with these books, and why not see one of the movies in between? There's no reason not
Right.
to, you know?
I have another email. Joe24 of Tampa, Florida, talks about marketing. Send me an email about the marketing. There was some disagreement on the minicast as to whether releasing Deathly Hallows a week after the release of the Order of the Phoenix movie was A, incredibly smart, or B, incredibly stupid. Purely from a marketing standpoint, this move was genius. Joe thinks. As was pointed out on the minicast, the potential for cross-marketing is amazing. You could literally have leaflets for the movie placed into each copy of the book during production, which would be instant advertising to potentially tens of millions of fans for the cost of basically your average daily newspaper. Now, before we get to the rest of his email, I don't think they're going to be doing that.
There's no need to do that.
The book. Yeah. Yeah. But he goes on to say, despite all the debate, it's important not to forget one thing. This is Harry Potter. Scholastic could literally release the book in the dead of winter, only in bookstores above the 40th parallel in the middle of a driving snowstorm, and people would still buy this book. It's the biggest series to come out in at least the last 50 years, and this is the last book. No one who bought the last 6 books are going to pass on this. Of course. Of course. So, I mean...
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, it's Harry Potter. It's going to sell no matter what you do with it.
Right. And it's not so much the selling for us, I don't think. I think it's the hype and the build-up that we're a little disappointed about because the book comes so soon after the movie. And the movie build-up can't compare to the book build-up. The book build-up is so much bigger. I mean, premiere-wise, the premieres are great, and they're a lot of fun. But there's so much more anticipation for the book. And
Well, yeah, I think that's the one thing. I think I was actually talking to you, Micah, about that, was that the second I found out the book was coming out, that became my priority. Like, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, we're going to go to New York for the premiere and stuff. At least that's what I'm planning to do. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, if I had to cut one trip out of my entire summer, that would be the first thing to go, because I would much rather do a book release than a movie release.
right.
I think
absolutely.
the book definitely trumps it in that aspect.
Yeah.
I just think spacing out a little bit could have made a difference for a lot of people if, say, the book came out in the middle of August as opposed to sort of the end of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have, but then there just would have been such a long break. Well, I mean, at least for us, it would be like, okay, movie, let's go back to our homes for 2 weeks and fly somewhere else.
I think it will work out in the end.
Well, at least it would give us a break.
It would give us
a lot of people.
See, but people are saying, "Oh, we need a break." No, we don't. It's
exactly that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's going to be an awesome month. It's going to be back to back to back to back. Everything's going to fall like dominoes. It's going to be the movie, the book, then prophecy. It's all going to fall together, and it's just going to be a crazy ride for all of us.
What does everyone think prophecy is going to be like now? Since we will have all read the book by the time we go.
Well, they got to seriously look into their programming and start some. Yeah,
is Snape good or bad? Well, that we don't know.
Yeah. Well, no offense to the Harry Potter conference in England, but that's over the book release.
It's quite a shame to have. Prophecy was lucky that Joe didn't throw a date right in the middle of their conference, because there are these other conferences. Well, what Enlightening catches the movie but misses the book? Is that how that works? Or
basically, yeah.
Yeah,
it's right over the movie,
but misses
which was
the book.
planned.
Oh, it was planned? Okay.
Yeah.
But then but they missed the book, and then the conference in England, what is that, Sectus?
Yeah.
Is right over the book.
So, I mean, honestly, if you're looking at all three of these conferences, Sectus is going to be interesting because you're going to be right there for the release. But Enlightening, there's much more potential for the book 7 theory discussion, because that's all off in prophecy now. And Sectus, it's pretty much. And what is everyone going to be doing at Sectus when the book comes out? They're going to be reading it. I don't think they're going to be wanting to go to panels. So,
well, it could work out in their favor, though. I mean, MuggleNet had. We had Spellbound in 2005.
Well, that was planned. That was designed for.
Yeah, it was a one-night but thing. At the same time, I think it goes to show that you can have a large meeting of people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Plus, that's in England, and we're going to be stealing. We want to do a podcast over there, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next email, Jessica Going Crazy 16 of California. She writes, first off, I'd like to say that I love you all so much. You make me get a warm, fuzzy feeling as I want to listen to you guys. Thank you, Jessica.
Oh.
Okay, so the 7th book coming out in July freaks me out. I thought I would be excited, but now that we have a date, I'm scared and upset. Upset because I agree about how close it is to the movie. Scared because I might end up killing myself at the end of the book. Note to all of our listeners, she's not serious. I also don't want to know what happens. I don't want anyone to die. I'm glad that the movie is coming out first, though, but it's just too close to the book. I think the book is more money because it's a bigger book than the 6th. I personally want it to be bigger than the 6th. I will be disappointed if it isn't. I don't think J.K. Rowling is being rushed. For some reason, I feel like she wants to just get it out. I mean, we got the name of the book and the date on when it comes out. I feel that soon we will know what the cover will look like. You never know. She wraps up her email by saying, what do you think the colors of the 7th book will be? Did we talk about this when we did favorite book cover?
No, we actually didn't talk about it.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? I mean, is there a pattern here? It was sort of green themed. Well, it's going to be a solid color, I think, right?
Well, I think also she's talking about when you take the jacket off, you have two colors, the color on the spine and the...
Well, I think it's going to be black.
I agree with that. I think.
But Goblet of Fire was already black.
No.
Yeah, when you took the cover art off Goblet of Fire, it was orange and black.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm talking about the actual the
actual cover.
No. It was orange and black, but the colors, it'll be black and
something
gray,
else.
maybe.
Because wasn't Half-Blood Prince black and purple?
It is, but why I'm saying it's going to be black. That main part of it is going to be
Prince
black.
Was purple and green, I believe. Half-Blood Prince was.
No. The inside the binding of the book.
The binding? No, that's what I'm saying. If you take the cover off,
it's black, but it's purple. It's black and purple.
Oh, black and purple.
I'm looking at it right now, dude. It's black and purple.
Yeah, me
too. What was I going to say? Yeah, but the you might remember that the placeholder art for Half-Blood Prince was purple. And this one, and for Order of the Phoenix, it was blue, I think. Because we were all confident that the theme of the book was going to be purple, because Order of the Phoenix matched the color of the placeholder with the color of the actual cover. So I could be completely off on this, but why would they make the placeholder art black unless?
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
It just seems there seems to be a pattern here.
You know what? It's black because the word Deathly is in it. It's kind of a dark color.
Do you think that could be true?
It could be that, because like it just looks good also. So,
but I mean, black. What does black represent? The end.
Death.
But the end too. So
well, the end. Death. Yeah, the end.
Yeah, but actually, I mean, completely contradicting myself. I don't think that a black, the actual cover would be good black. I don't think a Harry Potter cover could be black.
I don't know.
Probably be gray.
It could be. Yeah, it could be like a grayscale type.
But that's so blah. It's like blah.
Well, what if it's like?
What if it's just solid black? Harry Potter. That would be awesome.
With a 7 on it.
Yeah.
The book is so dark that the cover is pure black.
It's got a picture of a marble bust on it.
Death. Yeah.
Well, what about red?
Maybe that's the key.
I was thinking red too.
That makes sense.
Red.
I think red would be cool.
Red and black.
Red is interesting.
Like a Chamber of Secrets red?
Or red and black.
Well,
like a fox
Chamber of
red?
Secrets wasn't complete. Well, yeah, fox, but yeah, like that kind of color, like a blood red.
Laura,
Blood?
I don't like
Wow.
blood.
Well, it's supposed to be a dark book.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Do you
be
think
blood
Mary
red
Grand
and the darkest black they can find. It's gonna just be dark and scary.
Do you think
I
she
hope
gets
so.
locked in a room somewhere and for weeks on end, and she's not allowed to go anywhere?
Well, I don't
Grand
think
Prix.
so, but I hope they. I want a big reveal like with the Half-Blood Prince cover they did on the Today Show. They had a little like handkerchief over it, and like Katie Couric was like, or no, it was Arthur Levine, and they pulled it off, and there was the cover. We were like, wow, that's the final step. These things come in 3 steps. We get the title, we get the date, and then the cover, and
Maybe
then
some
the
excerpts.
countdown's going to be on. And we have one final email here. Yeah, one final email here from Mary, 31 of Michigan. She writes, "Hey, you love the show? Regarding your mini podcast about the release of Book 7, I think that your conspiracies regarding the timing of Book 7 versus the movie release are a bit too dramatic. I think it's as simple as J.K. Rowling was very closed-mouthed about her process of finishing Book 7 and never fully revealed the speed at which she was writing. I think she finally saw the light at the end of the tunnel and did not want to jinx herself. I also think that if she feels the book is ready, it's ready. This is not a woman who can be pushed around by her publishers. She keeps them in the dark just like the rest of the world. Remember also that she willingly sold the movie rights to Warner Brothers and does not have control over when the movie is released. As for taking more time to make Book 7 better, how would we even know if it could have been better unless JKR admits it? She did admit that Goblet of Fire could have been better, but if she never told us that, we would not have been the wiser. Who really cares? I think most fans are excited, but also sad the adventure will come to an end. Have a great day." I wanted to get as many different perspectives from the listeners as possible on this show.
Well, when she says bit too dramatic, I think it's really... That's what we do, though. We examine it from every different angle, and we bring up as many different things as possible.
We do need to complain, because if we agreed with everything, then there'd be nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
No show. We'd be boring.
But with that said, let's reiterate again, we are very excited about this. I mean, it started setting in for me today, and it's not fully set in.
Yeah.
The final book is coming out, people. There's 160 plus 8 days till the release.
There is a certain amount of trepidation involved too, I think, because I mean, part of me is so excited that it's coming out, and then again, I'm like, wow, in 6 months, it's gonna be done, and we're gonna know everything. And you know, we've been reading these books since I was 11, so it's been a long time. I've basically grown up with these books, and it's kind of sad, but exciting too.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up our release date discussion for now. Alright, but changing gears here, we're going to get into some book discussion now. Last week we asked everyone to send in their ideas on the Horcrux discussion that we had last week, because we were sort of getting all caught up in a tizzy over... we were confusing ourselves, I think. And
we got a lot of good response, though.
We did, Micah, so you want to get us through it all? I'm so confused by it all.
Well, Sarah, 18, from North Carolina, said that she was rereading the series, and when she was rereading the beginning of Goblet of Fire, she came across this passage on page 10. Wormtail says, "My lord, I must speak," panic in his voice now. "All through our journey I have gone over the plan in my head. My lord, Bertha Jorkin's disappearance will not go unnoticed for long, and if we proceed, if I murder," and then Voldemort says, "If," whispered the second voice, If you follow the plan, Wormtail, the Ministry need never know that anyone else has died. You will do it quietly and without fuss. I only wish that I could do it myself, but in my present condition... Come, Wormtail, one more death and our path to Harry Potter is clear. I am not asking you to do it alone. By that time, my faithful servant will have rejoined us." And she goes on to say that, obviously, they're talking about making the final Horcrux. I had just noticed it for the first time, and I was just wondering if y'all had noticed it, or if this had been brought up already. If it has, sorry.
I understand that they're making the final Horcrux, but what does Bertha Jorkins have to do with it?
Well, no, it's the fact that they said one more murder and then the path to Harry Potter's clear. But did anybody die in Book 4? I don't think this is talking about the Horcrux at all.
Yeah.
I think it's talking about Dumbledore.
Well, I don't think it's talking about the Horcrux.
Yeah.
No, I really don't think so. I mean, I'm not ruling it out completely, but I always took it to mean that they were trying to, go after Dumbledore, or somebody who could protect Harry.
And Voldemort says, "I only wish that I could do it myself." Well, obviously, if he's, he has to do it himself if he's making a Horcrux.
So you're saying they're not talking about killing Bertha Jorkins, they're talking about killing Dumbledore or someone?
Well, no, there's...
No. That's just part of the quote where
that's just part of the
Wormtail is saying that her disappearance is gonna...
not go unnoticed, and if I murdered
kind
this
of
other
make...
person...
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And then he says, "If you murder this other person, blah, blah, blah." So there's another person, and he says, "Come, Wormtail, one more death, and our path to Harry Potter is clear." So I went, well, Barty Crouch Sr. died, but who do you think they're planning the death of, is what I'm saying. Like, could it be that they were planning Dumbledore's death in Book 4, or, in this scene, or what?
Possibly. I mean, who else does Voldemort really see as the person protecting Harry?
How would Voldemort expect Wormtail to kill him, though? If Voldemort's feared of him.
That's true, too. So it's interesting to see who they killed. Because nobody... I mean, who died in Book 4 besides Barty Crouch?
Well, there was Cedric.
Yeah, but I don't think they were planning to kill Cedric.
No.
Well, that's kind of interesting,
they weren't really
though,
planning
because looking at this, apparently there was a murder that was supposed to occur in Book 4, and it didn't happen.
He was the spare.
Well, maybe it did. It said, if you follow the plan, the Ministry never need to know that anyone else has died. So, maybe we don't need to know either.
Well, hold on. Couldn't it be Barty Crouch Jr. wasn't with him yet? And the other person that died would be his mother, right? Could they have put Barty Crouch Sr. under the Imperious Curse to get Barty Crouch Jr. out?
Voldemort says, "By that time my faithful servant will have rejoined us." So, by his faithful servant, that kind of goes to the graveyard scene where he's talking about his faithful servant. And is it Snape, or is it Barty Crouch? By that time my faithful servant will have rejoined us.
Yeah.
I think it's because we don't know. So
interesting.
Yeah.
It's just a very weird scene.
It's an interesting passage because it should actually matter. I'd be surprised if it didn't, but it should actually matter. So. Well,
couldn't it be? It would matter if they found out that Barty Crouch Jr. broke out of Azkaban. You know what I mean? So if they put Senior under Barty Crouch Senior under the Imperious Curse, there's he did it right this time, and his faithful servant Barty Crouch Jr. was able to break out, impersonate Moody.
Well, no,
and get in.
The storyline's coming back to me. What actually happened was Barty Crouch Sr. Took his wife to see their son, swapped bodies with their wife and his son, took his son back home under the Polyjuice Potion as his wife. Dementors didn't notice, but then Bertha Jorkins came by the Crouch household and kind of got the idea that Barty Crouch Jr. was kept in the basement. And that's when Wormtail ran into her when she went to Albania, and she said, "Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I really think that they are hiding his son down in the basement or something." And that led Voldemort to the Crouches, to Barty Crouch Jr. That's actually what...
I thought Wormtail killed her because Wormtail's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, that's what Voldemort said.
Well, that too. But I thought that Wormtail got the information about Barty Crouch being alive through Bertha Jorkins.
Yeah,
that's possible.
Yeah,
that's possible.
But then they said by the time all the memory spells were done,
that's right, because
her mind would have been a mess anyway. So they just killed her. So But so I don't know that, but it's an interesting passage, and I'm glad it was caught because we have to see what it means.
But now that we're discussing it, doesn't seem like it could be related to
No, I don't
Horcruxes.
think so.
When I first read that, it was kind of sounding convincing. But next one comes from Chris, 21 of Georgia, in Half-Blood Prince, page 497 in the American hardback. Slughorn says, even if one's body is attacked or destroyed, one cannot die, for part of the soul remains earthbound and undamaged. Also, Dumbledore says, when speaking about the number of Horcruxes, page 503, quote, not 7 Horcruxes, 6. The 7th part of his soul, however maimed, resides inside his regenerated body. That was the part of him that lived a spectral existence for so many years during his exile. So we're only looking for 2. Right? Because last week we were saying we're looking for 3. There's still 3 unknowns.
The whole argument last week was that Eric was saying one thing and Ben was saying the other, and Eric basically is proven right by this.
Yeah, I think Eric was right.
About whether dying uses up a Horcrux.
What was the argument? I wasn't here.
No, okay, see, this was the argument. The argument was that when Voldemort dies, like in the case of Harry Potter when his spell rebounded, does he lose a Horcrux? Or do the Horcruxes remain and his soul just wander?
Well, the existence of his other Horcruxes
correct
hold him to the earth, which is exactly
right.
This quote that Slughorn says. And Ben was thinking that, well, when he died, one of his Horcruxes was used up. Like his piece of his soul.
I don't think it was Horcruxes. I think Ben was thinking more that one of the pieces of soul was used up.
Yeah, that's a Horcrux. Right. A Horcrux is a piece
of
soul.
But the Horcrux inside, but the soul inside of him is not considered a Horcrux. It's considered his soul. So I think what Ben was thinking was when he died, when he lost his body, that piece of soul was lost also. I think that's what Ben was thinking. But from the quote, I think it's more that soul piece stays, and that's what.
Yeah, but either way, I think this quote confirms that the Horcrux isn't used up in any way. It's just a single piece of soul that remains in his body and the Horcruxes bound him to the earth.
The existence,
right. The Horcruxes anchor him.
Yeah, that's kind of what the quote says.
As long as those Horcruxes are there, his soul can't be destroyed.
But we still do not know if Voldemort successfully made or had 7 pieces of soul before he died.
I think he must because that's Dumbledore's mission.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
but
we actually, I just wanted to point that out. We still don't positively know that because what Dumbledore said was,
I think it's pretty much a given.
Because the number 7, and it would be.
Yeah, it really would be
disappointing. Yeah,
right. But it hasn't been confirmed by anybody that he actually made or had 7 pieces of soul at the time of his downfall.
Yeah, but I think it's something that can be safely assumed.
Well, no, because even one Horcrux, actually, by this description that we got, even one Horcrux should tie you to the earth if you die. Voldemort just went all out and wanted 7 pieces of soul to exist because he killed so many people.
Yeah, but then what would be the point of going on about, showing Harry that Voldemort wanted to make 7 Horcruxes if there wasn't gonna be 7 of them? I'm talking about it from more of a literary standpoint.
Well, what they say when
like Kevin said, it would be anticlimactic.
Well, when Dumbledore talks to Harry about it, he says 2 or 3 more remaining, and he's very. I mean, everybody wants to say, okay, we need the wand, the locket, the cup, everything else, and and think of it like that. But I think the actual scene, if we looked at it again, Dumbledore is not sure if Voldemort had 6 or 7.
But what we're saying is, although it's not confirmed, the fact that she mentioned it, J.K. Rowling that is, mentioned 7 Horcruxes, it would be somewhat disappointing not to see 7. There's no reason not to include 7 in the book.
Well, except for a huge plot twist. But I mean, Joe has said on one occasion in an interview that Dumbledore is usually not far off the mark. Yeah. So, Mikey, what were you going to say?
My question is the memory that Harry got from Slughorn. How many Horcruxes did Tom Riddle say would make it magically powerful? 7 Horcruxes or 7 pieces of soul? Because I think that's the big question is, if he makes 7 Horcruxes, there's 8 pieces of his soul. 7 Horcruxes and the piece of his soul that's inside him.
And
So that would mean.
You see what I mean? I think it all goes back to that memory, and that's the key to kind of find out. And sadly, I haven't read the book recently to tell you exactly what the quote is.
Yeah. Well, 7, sir. Isn't 7 the magical number? Wouldn't it be possible to have 7? 7, said Slughorn. My goodness, Tom. Just to commit such an evil deed against nature, it's an act against. It's act against nature. It's an act against everything. You're insane. You want to do 7? And then Voldemort was all like, "Sorry, sir."
Yeah, so it would be...
But but in that scene they were referring to Horcruxes.
7 Horcruxes or 7 pieces of soul. So there might be, 8 pieces of soul, do you think, Mikey?
Well, it would be like 8... Because, again, we were saying that the Horcruxes are separate pieces, separate from what is bound to Voldemort himself. So there's 7 separate Horcruxes, plus the 8th piece of his soul that's inside himself. So there's 7 Horcruxes total. He has to destroy. Then Voldemort himself.
But exactly, I think Voldemort places the significance in 7 Horcruxes, not 8 pieces of soul or 7 pieces
Dumbledore
of soul.
Well, Dumbledore even says,
that makes
though,
sense.
Andrew just read the quote, that there's not 7 Horcruxes, there are 6, plus Voldemort. The 7th part of his soul, however, maimed, resides inside his regenerated body.
Could he actually have made 7 and Harry be a Horcrux and Dumbledore just didn't want to say it? We're back on that.
That would suck.
That would suck.
I don't want that. I don't think Harry's a Horcrux.
But there is some support for that at the end of book 2 when they're talking about all the similarities between breaking rules. But what's interesting in that scene, just thinking about that, is that Dumbledore was comparing Harry to Voldemort, saying, you want to break the rules, but yet Harry's own father broke the rules too. That's why that's so confusing, because we find out that James is a rule breaker, yet Dumbledore's talking about the similarities between Harry and Voldemort. Even though his father was a rule breaker too, he's comparing his rule breakingness to Voldemort, saying that Voldemort transferred part of himself into Harry the night he died.
I don't think he's talking about rule breaking. I think he's talking about stuff like being able to speak Parselmouth.
No, it was that, and the exact words were a certain disregard for the rules, if I may say so.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's kind of a generic thing, because there's more than one student at Hogwarts that has a disregard for rules.
Yeah, but
it's true.
But Harry also has that connection with Voldemort too, so that leaves a little something.
Yeah, but
there, I
guess. But I think that part of the reason Harry does disregard rules is because he feels a responsibility to defeat Voldemort. I don't.
Let's move on to another email from Edna62 of Atlanta about the cup. The cup is found and Arthur has it in his shed. And this one I'm not too sure about. Chamber of Secrets, page 31. Ron tells Harry about what his dad does in the misuse of Muggle artifacts office. Like last year, this is Ron saying, like last year, some old witch died and her tea set was sold to an antique shop. This Muggle woman bought it, took it home, and tried to serve her friend's tea in it. It was a nightmare. Dad was working overtime for weeks. He and Perkins had to do memory charms and all sorts of stuff to cover it up. Hepzibah Smith, perhaps? Well, or of course, Ron must have meant last year to be when the nightmare happened, not when the old witch died. Fred says, quote, Dad's crazy about anything to do with Muggles. Our shed's full of Muggle stuff. Now somehow the tea set is brought to the wedding celebration either as a gift to the young couple or included as part of the table setting. But will Harry recognize it or remember it later? Will harm come to the Weasley family? And if so, will that allow Ron to go with Harry driven by his own personal vendetta? Is there enough evidence here to conclude that?
I don't think so. The thing is, if you look back at Book 6 and you read the specific chapter where Tom Riddle was coming and meeting with Hepzibah Smith, and she shows him Hufflepuff's cup, it is described as being heavier. It's gold. It's got handles on either side and a badger on the front of it. That does not strike me as something that would come in a tea set.
Yeah, I thought it was more like a goblet or something.
Or let alone be unrecognized as something of high value.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. But, like, it wouldn't be fun, like, I mean, okay, the locket I can understand, and I really hope that the locket that was mentioned in Book 5 is the locket Horcrux that's at Grimmauld Place, or wherever Creature would have put it, if he had his hands on it, but not all the Horcruxes, what I'm saying is not all the Horcruxes can have been found. I mean, I think part of Book 7 should be Harry looking for the Horcruxes. I mean, if they're all in in a building or dusty shells, then that's kind of anticlimactic, considering Dumbledore had to go all the way to the old Gaunt house and then sift through the rubbish just to find the ring. But that was. So there's got to be some kind of test. They can't just be. You can't say, okay, so the cup was found. I think the locket is a once and done thing. I think the fact that RAB took the locket is significant, but everything else should be wherever Voldemort put it, which would not be out in the open somewhere, or on a shelf, or on a tea set.
Micah, we got some clarification from Christy, 18 of Chicago.
Yeah, she says, on the show you guys mentioned about other headmasters being buried at Hogwarts. However, in Half-Blood Prince on page 629 in the American version, it says, I know that it was Dumbledore's wish to be laid to rest here at Hogwarts. I believe that's McGonagall speaking. Then that's what'll happen, isn't it? Said Harry fiercely. If the Ministry thinks it's appropriate... if the Ministry thinks it's appropriate, said Professor McGonagall, no other headmaster or headmistress has ever been. And then Harry says, no other headmaster or headmistress has ever been... Harry says, no other headmaster...
Hagrid.
Oh, Hagrid. Hagrid says, no other headmaster or headmistress ever gave more to this school. Therefore, although there might be a graveyard at Hogwarts, there are no other headmasters or headmistresses buried there, just Dumbledore. And that's... in response to last week's show.
Well, that's also...
That's a good quote. I mean, thank you for finding that.
I think that you can think of the founders a little differently than you think of a headmaster or a headmistress.
But we're not...
Because while they were they did effectively serve those roles.
Yeah.
They were still the founders.
But we still at...
And it's... Yeah, but it's not like McGonagall's saying not even the founders are buried here,
But I mean,
she's
it's
saying,
partly answering our question, because we did ask, are the former headmasters and headmistresses buried here? But
good find.
So, yeah, thanks, Christy, for that. Okay, we're going to get to a few voicemails this week. We haven't done it in a while, so let's hit up the lines now.
You guys make me laugh so much. I just realized something after reading about the new release date. I wondered if you thought that what the status of J.K.R.'s door would be after the book 7 comes out and the 5th movie comes out. If you'll keep it closed all the time, or if you'll open it up every so often. Love the show. My name's Corey from California, and I didn't mention at the beginning. But anyway, I'll keep this under 30 like you want. Thanks for an awesome show, and hope to hear you pretty soon. Thanks. Bye.
I think it's going to turn into an area for maybe cool new facts.
I think so, too,
Like, she won't post everything in the rumors section, and it'll be like...
Yeah, but she said that she wasn't going to take the site down, that she was going to keep it up.
I don't think she's taking it down.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I don't think she would leave it up if she wasn't going to keep it active.
Updated, yeah.
Yeah. And she's still a writer. Even though Harry Potter's over, she's still going to write other stuff.
Yeah, but that rumor or
and
requirement... it seems to me like
I know.
Yeah,
but that could become a tradition, of her site. It doesn't necessarily have to stay closed forever just because it... I know, but she could use it for other books.
No,
I don't see her using it.
I don't think
Why
she
not?
I don't like that
There's
idea.
all those little fun things you can get on her website. I'm sure, like we talked about possibly an encyclopedia. What if, she starts releasing information, backstory, and stuff like that through there?
Well, she already has. But yeah, she could channel more of that through the rumor requirement. Because after book 7, all of the extra facts about the series is going to be like special content, special tidbits that are going to have more value to them, I think. Since there's not another book to get a boatload of new information.
Yeah, in short, I think that the site will definitely stay active, and I don't think that she'll shut the door forever.
Definitely. Which actually brings up a question we've been getting asked a lot, is MuggleNet and MuggleCast, are they going to be closing once book 7 is out? Yeah, the answer to that is yes. So, next voicemail, please.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
However, at that time, I will have my own podcast.
No, absolutely not. We're gonna keep the trust. The site's gonna be here through
forever.
The third remake of the Harry Potter series. The the podcast we plan on doing through the book. We're going to keep doing it till we run out of stuff to discuss. That's really what it comes down to. And that's for Deathly Hallows. We're going to be able to hopefully discuss stuff for another 30 episodes after the release.
Well, don't,
am I right?
Don't say that, because you never know. You don't want to get people's hopes up.
That's true, yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying is we love doing this. We don't want to stop doing it once the book comes out. So whether we make the show shorter or do them every other week or something like that, we'll come up with something.
I think it's also safe to say that even if MuggleCast ends, we all really enjoy doing this podcast thing, and I'm sure we could find something else to talk about.
It's true, yeah.
Like fish.
Definitely.
Another book.
Yeah.
Another
I'm sure
author.
we could do that.
Narnia. MuggleCast, your leading Narnia podcast.
I'm looking at my calendar right now, in episode 99, if we keep doing shows every week, will be released on July 22nd.
Oh, weird.
So maybe we should do 2 shows in 1 week.
So it's episode 100.
100th episode. Go out with a bang.
Yeah, and we'll release it on a Saturday. Yeah. But of course, there's going to be leaky mugs and stuff, so this schedule might get thrown off entirely. I don't know. But anyway, let's move along here.
Thanks, voicemail.
Hey, MuggleCasters, this is Jason from California. I love the show, especially Laura and Jamie. They're my favorites. And I recently listened to episode 57 where you talked about Petunia and Dudley Dursley. And this episode spawned a theory in my mind about Book 7. Someone is supposed to do magic very late in life in Book 7, and we are also supposed to learn what Dudley's worst memory is. Is it possible that Dudley has and will do magic inadvertently, and this is his worst memory? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Keep up the good work. Later.
But is it worst memory, or is it his worst fear?
I think it's his worst fear.
Yeah, I mean, they could be the same thing, though.
See, I always had the theory that, it depends what you define as late in life. Because
that's true.
Dudley, I guess, is later in his life, but, when you're talking about somebody doing magic in Book 7, is it Filch? Is it Mrs. Fig?
Or Petunia?
But I think it'd be kind of cool, if Dudley's greatest fear is his parents finding out that he can do magic.
That would be interesting. And I mean,
Micah, was it... Sorry,
okay, well, I'm not sure how I feel about it, but when you think about, Muggleborns and stuff, Dudley would be a likely candidate considering his aunt was one.
Well, I think that with the Dementor's effect on Dudley, too, it makes you relive your worst memories, is what it does. Not necessarily your worst fear, and not necessarily... You don't really necessarily relive it. When Harry came across the Dementors, he would always hear his mother screaming, and, the worst... So I think it is the worst memory, as opposed to worst fear.
Well, no, Lupin says to him, it's wise because what you fear most is fear
but that
itself.
was when he was dealing with Bogart.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
I mean, maybe... So, do we think... Does Dudley know he has some magical ability? Because don't you think we would have seen it by now, when he was faced with
I think he would have warmed up to Harry a little bit.
I don't think he would warm up to Harry.
Andrew... I talked to you about it, though, didn't I?
Yeah, I was going to say that. But I'm saying, when he was faced up against the Dementors with Harry, don't you think he would have exhibited some sort of...
Maybe he's too afraid.
Yeah, but when Harry was afraid of the snake, he started talking to it, so... In Book 1. So, I think maybe even if Dudley does know, he's probably too insecure about it to... tell anyone.
Yeah, but I think part of what may be used as evidence for that is when Dumbledore came to visit in Half-Blood Prince, he made some comment to Dudley's parents about how they raised him or how they treated him. I forget what the exact quote was.
It was something about, I won't do anything worse to him than what you already have. Or something along those lines.
Or I won't do anything. You've already abused him. Or something like that.
And it would certainly kind of
something to that effect.
Lead very well into that big revelation about Aunt Petunia we're supposed to get.
Are Harry and Dudley the same exact age? Same school year age?
Pretty much, a couple weeks.
Yeah. So, if Harry started receiving the letters from Hogwarts, wouldn't Dudley have received them too?
Unless they didn't want him to go.
Unless they throw him away.
Why are you guys thinking Dudley? Why can't it be Petunia that does magic late in life? We were thinking either Mrs. Fig, Filch, or Petunia. Petunia was everybody. The focus is on Petunia. Why would somebody say, "Well, why isn't it Dudley who might do magic?"
Because we were answering their voicemail.
There is apparently still something big to be revealed about Petunia. So, I mean, and we haven't really heard anything about Dudley. So.
I thought JKR said.
Yeah, but it would be a big revelation about Petunia that she gave birth to a wizard and then hid it from him. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think they don't need any more reasons to think Dudley is special.
See, isn't this what excites you though? Like knowing we're gonna know. Well, yeah, but we're gonna have all the answers.
Oh my gosh,
that's what exciting. And I think I've mentioned this before. I'm looking forward to. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to all the podcasts, but reflecting back on all the stuff we've
thinking
discussed
about all the times we were
and
wrong.
how the times we were right. Yeah, hopefully. So good stuff. What's
next voicemail?
Hey, hi, this is Sam. I'm a great listener and I love you guys, but I was just wondering, how come, like, you know, they say in Hogwarts that Muggles things like guns and technology stop working around Hogwarts because of all the magic, but guns wouldn't, would they? So I always wonder, like, why doesn't, like, Harry come in there with, like, a chain gun or something, just blow the place apart? I mean, it's just a, concept, like, why doesn't anyone do that? Alright, bye.
Because that would make
Are you sure you don't mean Voldemort?
Really
Wait a minute. Harry go into Hogwarts and blow everybody apart?
I quoted it. I quoted it from his voicemail.
Yeah, I know, but are you sure he doesn't? I mean, I think he means Voldemort.
I don't know what he means.
No, he could mean Harry.
Okay. Or he could mean Harry. He could mean Harry go into wherever Voldemort is.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, thank you, Laura Mallory, a.k.a. Sam.
He's going to blow the place apart because Harry Potter also promotes guns and weapon violence as well, especially in schools.
I mean, these are one of those questions, like, I mean, this is a perfect example. Why didn't you just shoot the Voldemort? Because it's a magic novel.
Okay.
It wouldn't be fun.
Doesn't Harry use the bathroom the most? Because there's no room for that.
No one wants to watch him go to the bathroom.
Hey, MuggleCast, this is Corey16 from Newtown, Pennsylvania. I was just listening to your latest MuggleCast episode 74, and you guys were talking about what would happen if Voldemort were to die. Would the Death Eaters ever regroup? If you guys have ever seen the TV show Charmed, when the Source dies, all the demons or the underworld is in disarray, but slowly a leader comes up and takes over control. So do you think that might happen? Bellatrix might take over the Death Eaters? Or if she does, how long do you think that'll be?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think Bellatrix would take over. I think she's going to die.
Yeah.
No, see, the problem is that I think most of the Death Eaters are coerced into their positions. Like, they're not the best people to begin with, and then Voldemort says, hey, you have the same morals as I do, come into my group, otherwise I'll torture you. And so essentially they're like coerced into their positions and coerced into supporting him. And once he dies, I do not see them continuing. I see them doing exactly what they did when he died the first time, which is try to integrate back into society and act as though nothing happened.
There are a few like Bellatrix who might become leaders, but the thing with Charmed, and this is kind of a good comparison, is that in Charmed, once the Source dies, the disarray, there's that period of disarray where nobody really knows what to do and all the demons are kind of coming back and forming. But the thing about Charmed is that there's no overwhelming source of good necessary that can actually stop things from reforming. And so I think, like in the Harry Potter series, the Ministry will use that time of disarray to then seek out all the Death Eaters and put them behind bars, all the ones that still pose a threat, all the ones they can find. See, in Charmed there was just nothing to stop the demons from reforming.
It's true, yeah.
Whereas this time the Ministry can, use that.
You can also look at the time in between Voldemort's first fall, how come no one rose up, and actually in Half-Blood Prince, Snape even said to Bellatrix that they thought Harry was going to be the next dark wizard for everyone to rally behind. I think everyone that is a Death Eater is waiting for one person to rally behind, and it's none of the current Death Eaters. So unless something happens, I don't think none of the current Death Eaters would rise up and be a leader.
Yeah. And the thing is, what's important to remember is that there's always going to be evil in the world. But as Harry's battle, that's going to be done. You may have some Death Eaters that continue on doing horrible things, and eventually another Dark Lord may rise and they may rally behind him. But the Death Eaters, as for the Death Eaters who are known as Voldemort's followers, I don't think that they're going to expand or create anything new when he dies.
Yeah, without a leader,
Not to mention the fact that they got away with it once. Do you think they're going to get away with it the second time?
They will.
I don't. I see Lucius. I see all the Death Eaters that are currently in the book. They're going to get knocked off or they're going to be captured. The Ministry isn't going to fall for it twice.
And exactly, and when Harry came back from the graveyard and started listing Nott and Bode and all the ones, Fudge just said to him, "You're just talking about people who stood trial last time and who obviously got away." So. But so they obviously suspect a large variety of the Death Eaters who are actually Death Eaters. This time they'll probably definitely catch them.
Never mind the fact that the Horcrux thing has now been exposed, so they're going to have to come up with another way.
Which could take forever.
The person that rises.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me, can't get fooled again. It's the Butch quote when he screws it up.
Wow.
Alright, okay, well, with that said, that concludes the voicemails today, right, Laura? I think. Yeah. If you would like to send us a voicemail, you can always dial in the United States 1-218-20-MAGIC. In the United Kingdom, you can dial 020-8144-0677. If you're in Australia, you can dial 02-8003-5668. So get your voicemails in, and we look forward to playing them on a future show. Try to keep the voicemail questions general. Try not to, we like to have a broad range of topics on the show, and the voicemails help keep a wide variety of stuff to discuss on the show.
If you can try doing that with rebuttals too.
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
But rebuttals are rebuttals most of the time.
Well, they're not thesis either.
No, that's true. We're going to wrap things up today with a chicken soup from the MuggleCast Soul. This comes from Natalie, 21, of Baghdad, Iraq. She writes, "Hello, MuggleCast. I'm an army girl who got sent over to Baghdad for a year. The first part of my tour was going slow and lasting a lifetime. Seeing and doing the same things over and over again can drive a person nuts. Then I started listening to your podcast. Let me tell you, you guys helped me a lot. Now, time goes by, and I can't wait to hear next week's cast. Seeing all the violence and death really brings a person's hopes and morale down a lot. But MuggleCast made me smile and laugh. It made me happy to hear about Harry Potter, and for once something not that serious and life-threatening. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You made a soldier's day every week. Can't wait for next week's cast. Yours truly, PFC Natalie." So thank you, Natalie, very much, and we're happy to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
We're very happy to hear it's helping you out. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. So that does conclude episode 75 of MuggleCast. By the way, guys, Micah earlier this week was trying to come up with ideas to how to celebrate for episode 75, but I ended up having a long show to celebrate anyway. 75 episodes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Joe took care of all of that for us.
Yeah.
It was Joe's gift to us.
She watches our back that way.
Wow. Yeah. So we thank everyone for listening, and we hope everyone's here for another 75 more. And just think, by episode 100, you will all have book 7. It's a mere 25 episodes away.
Oh my
Seems like
God.
that, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
it feels like... No, it doesn't actually. Episode 50 feels like a long time ago.
It does.
Yes.
Wow, just 50.
But if you want to send us some happy birthday cards or happy anniversary cards, you can always mail them to the MuggleCast P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 223, Mountain Ridge, Kansas 67107. I gave everyone the voicemail information already. Once again, United States 1-218-20-MAGIC, United Kingdom 020-8144-0677. If you're in Australia, you can dial 02-8003-5668. You can also Skype the username MuggleCast to leave us a voicemail message. Just remember to keep your message under 30 seconds and eliminate as much background noise as possible. You can also use the handy feedback form on MuggleCast.com. Just click on Contact on the top, and you can contact any one of us, or email our first name, including Mikey, at staff.mugglenet.com. Mikey, you regular on the show or what?
I have no clue. I just
make up your mind already.
I'll be on if you want me to, but it's one of those things where it's like Andrew gives me a call. Mikey, can you be on the show? Yeah, hold on. And
Mikey's our backup.
I'm the backup. So when Ben's not around, I'll be here. Yeah. I'm the Ben Chain for the show.
By the way, guys, I got an IM from Jamie when I was away today. It said, shoot, I want to quote it because it's pretty funny. It says, I'm literally about to die, explicitive flu. And then he signed off 4 seconds later. So if you want to, I assume he's under the weather right now. So send Jamie at staff.mugglenet.com some get well cards, emails, and hopefully.
I think he's had that since my party.
Yeah, he never sleeps. That's why.
He doesn't sleep.
No, I talk to him at all hours of
at
least California time. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's terms got him pretty screwed up.
He's an insomniac.
Yeah, it's true.
He really is.
Yet, when he comes over to my house, he sleeps for 14 hours. So, I don't fully understand what he's trying to accomplish.
I was talking to him when he came over to your house, and he's just like, yeah, quiet. Yeah, we can't Skype right now. Andrew's asleep. He has school in like 2 hours. I'm like, why are you up then? He's like, I haven't slept yet. I'm like, wow.
Thanks, everyone, for
listening. Jamie, get better.
Yeah, Jamie, get better. Hopefully he'll be back on next week. And Ben has a forensics tournament. That's why he isn't on either. So hopefully both of them will be back next week. Once again, I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Kevin Steck.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Laura Thompson.
I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
And I'm Mikey B.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please visit verydeathlyhallows.net.